Hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in again to another Epidose of the Ketogenic Fasting Project Gone Carnivore. My name is Tom, and today I have a special guest. Her name is Emily, and we're pals online because we're both in the carnivore movement. So why don't you introduce yourself, Emily, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I have been eating carnivore for about 10 months now, and I've noticed some huge changes and improvement. And so now I can't shut up about it, and I just tell everybody about my experience.
So what was your life like before carnivore?
I actually came to carnivore because of I had debilitating bipolar disorder. And it had turned into the end of 2018, it had turned into rapid cycling. And it was, instead of having like one bad day and then six good days, it turned into 4 bad days and then, 3, sometimes 2, sometimes only 1 good day. And it got to the point where I couldn't work. And so I was living with my mother so that she could help out with my son on days that I couldn't get out of bed. And my brother sent me the audiobook from Amber O'Hearn. And I just listened to the first chapter, and I learned that she was able to just eat meat. And she has been eating just meat for over 9 years. And it resolved some of her bipolar disorder, or all of her bipolar disorder symptoms. And I was so miserable at that point. I had no hope, none. And I was completely not only hopeless, but I also just felt worthless. I felt like I had nothing to give the world, nothing to give my son, nothing to give my family, nothing. I was willing to do anything. It didn't matter how extreme it was, because it wasn't as extreme as living in, this misery. Mm-hmm. So in February of this year, 2019, February 24th, I went straight from the standard American diet to carnivore overnight. And I ate 50% animal meat and 50% animal fat. That was my kind of go-to, or that was what I tried to shoot for. Mm-hmm. And then I slowly had everything start to resolve with the depression and the heaviness, the irritability, all of that stuff. And surprisingly, it was for a good reason that I did both, that I did this, because whenever I really started to heal, carnivore pulled back the curtain on what was really going on in my health and what the underlying cause was. And that was MS. And I started to have, MS symptoms. And a normal person, a logical person would say, oh, well, I started eating meat and this happened, so I need to stop eating meat. But I just kept pushing through, and I kept eating meat. And I was actually hospitalized, and they did MRIs and blood work and everything, and they diagnosed me with multiple sclerosis in March of this year. But I kept eating meat, and I couldn't walk at the beginning. I had to use an assistive device, a walker and a cane. And I would just walk down the hallway to cook my steak. And that was basically all I could do every day, is just to eat a steak. And as I ate a steak and as I got stronger, I haven't had an MS symptom since May 9th. And I still haven't been treated for MS. So I haven't had any medication to treat the MS. And all I've treated it with is meat. And they've given me 4 MRIs this year, multiple blood work, and it's still there. And the MS is still there and active, but I have no outward symptoms at all of the MS since May 9th. And my bipolar disorder symptoms have resolved. April was the last time I had any depressive episodes or manic episodes. And the psychiatrist has actually titrated me or tapered me off of those meds as well. So I am 100% med free with doctor's supervision. And I had no idea that I could have this hope and this joy and this quality of life. It's been really, really cool.
Well, that's a very compelling story. So with all these MRIs, do you notice any progression with the MS?
I don't really understand it as far as when I look at the MRI, it looks like cauliflower. I don't understand what it is. And they're like, you have activity and you have new activity. So they were saying that it's significantly improved, but they're saying that it's still active, like it's still there. And I can't really get a doctor or neurologist to really talk to me about it because they just kind of want to ignore the fact that I am not accepting their medicine. They're frustrated with me that I'm not accepting their medicine. So they're like afraid to say I'm better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, well, they probably have no idea what's going on. Like, what are they going to say? Because they've never seen this before, right?
Well, and they keep testing my grip and they keep testing my strength of my legs and my balance. And they test me for all these things. And they're like, and then this last neurologist that I went to, he was like, so tell me what it was like when you couldn't walk. And I was like, I couldn't walk. You know what I mean? And so it was almost like he was saying, were you really sick? Like, did this really happen? You know? I'm like, I would, if I didn't have a walker, I would fall over. That's how I couldn't walk.
So your brother sent you the Amber O'Hearn's book, and then you stumbled across Sean Baker and Michaela Peterson and all that.
Yeah, Sean Baker was the one that was loud enough to get my brother's attention.
Yeah.
And it helped just because he's so Sean, and it just really got my brother's attention. It got on my brother's radar enough. My brother has been carnivore for I believe a year and a half.
Nice.
And he resolved his IBS with that, his irritable bowel syndrome with that, and had great success. And we, of course, thought he was crazy, you know.
Sure.
Our little talks behind, you know, closed doors and be like, what is he doing? He's losing, you know. And it wasn't until, you know, the family saw this all happen with me that they were just like, oh, okay, good. You know, Ben saved the day. Ben's my brother. And so he was on, you know, some of those websites and everything and social media looking at Sean. And then that's whenever he heard about Amber O'Hearn and he recognized that, you know, hey, this could really help my sister. And then whenever I got in the door with Carnivore with Amber O'Hearn, and that was very important. But then whenever the MS hit, that's whenever I turned to Michaela Peterson, and I discovered that all of this underlying stuff was from the autoimmune disease, from the MS. And I was able to follow her protocol and her basically using her own body as a science experiment, her own personal little lab.
Right.
And she just pioneered the way for me. And I was able to just follow her footsteps and do what she did. And I got the same healing, the same, you know, quality of life, just from, you know, eating meat.
Yes, the carnivores seem to be coming out of the woodwork. So we keep stumbling on people who've been doing it for 10 years, 20 years, or whatever. They're kind of quietly in the background all this time, and now it's a thing. Should we go through some of your photos? Maybe we share some photos with the group and
Sure, yeah.
the viewers, and you can tell us about them a little bit? All right. So you thoughtfully included some text with this one here. So give us an idea about how long ago this was.
This was in May of 2017. I was a good 240 pounds there, and I was 900 milligrams of lithium at that point. Debilitating mental illness. I actually was on 60 milligrams of Adderall just to get out of bed every day. Constant food cravings. I had to eat every like 2 to 3 hours.
And we're filming this in December 2019, just for the sake of reference for people who are watching this later on.
Yes.
So here's some comparative photos.
Yeah, this is it. The weight fell off really fast. The weight wasn't an intention at all. I liked being a big girl, and I wasn't trying to lose weight, but it was kind of a cool side effect, because I realized that a lot of that was inflammation.
I think that's one of the things I've noticed about carnivore diet is, when you're in other diet groups, whether it's keto or paleo or whatever, most people come to those diets for weight loss, right? But then when you get to carnivore, a lot of people wind up on carnivore because they had other serious health conditions, and carnivore was the thing that seemed to work. And weight loss kind of takes a back seat to people resolving a lot of other issues.
Absolutely.
It's a nice side effect, right?
Yeah. It was kind of cool.
So here you are all decked out with descriptive text. So
yeah, so everything resolved, and I had zero cravings. That was the craziest part for me, was that I didn't crave food, and food has controlled me my entire life. I mean, I was the girl who, if we were out and about and I said I'm hungry, everybody in the group was like, okay, scrambling. We have to go find a restaurant. We have to get Emily food, because I became hangry. I mean, I was just so mean when I didn't eat.
I know people like that.
Yeah, that was me. That was me. I was crazy. But now it's just like, I mean, food doesn't control me anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting how the relationship with food changes. I think part of it is just that when you're not eating enough meat, you're malnourished. And so as soon as you don't have the nutrients you need and your calories drop out or your blood sugar plunges, then all kinds of alarms start going off, and that's why experiencing hunger even on keto is that way too, on a high fat diet, but more so on a carnivore, all meat based diet, you don't really experience any sort of serious signals when it comes to being hungry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here we are flexing the big guns.
Yeah, I didn't even work out or anything. It was just whenever the fat started to melt away, it was like, oh wow, underneath there's muscles. I had no idea.
People are going to hate you when they hear you say you didn't even work out.
I know. I still have, and I'm 135 pounds and a flat stomach, and I still haven't worked out, but I plan to because it's important.
Yeah, well, and if you enjoy, I think that's the other thing. People enjoy working out. I know I work out now, and it's like so much easier and so much more enjoyable with the right fuel. It's incredible. So go pull it in a little bit. Show that fancy dress off. So here's a nice comparison photo.
This is actually this is the original before and after picture that I sent to Sean Baker and Amber O'Hearn and Michaela Peterson, and all I said was, "Thank you for saving my life." And I sent them this picture in July, and lo and behold, Michaela and Sean both posted it on their pages, and
Wow.
then that's how all of this came about.
That's how you got famous.
Not famous, but that's how I was able to have more of a platform to help other people.
Yeah, now it's very compelling for sure. I hope more people get to see it.
Me too. And this was November of 2016 was the before picture. And then the after picture was just last week.
It's quite a transition.
Yeah. And I was, oh my gosh, I was so miserable in that before picture. It was horrible.
Oh, go back. Yeah, I wouldn't have even known that was you.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I've only
That,
known the thin you.
well, that's definitely the original picture. That's 900 milligrams of lithium as well. And I know that the psychiatrist and everybody were trying anything to get my bipolar disorder managed. But even on 900 milligrams of lithium, I was not stable. I was not okay. And that's why it's so crazy to me to even be stable and to have good days consistently now, on nothing but meat.
Yeah, and I think back to the interviews with Dr. Chris Palmer. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but he treats a lot of people with psychiatric disorders, and he talks about how the medications put weight on people. It usually shaves about 25 years off their life. And I don't think we know exactly what's going on, but clearly people with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia and stuff like that, anxiety, depression, they tend to seem to have insulin resistance in the brain. And they've known for probably longer than you and I have been alive that they also have higher levels of lactate in the brain, which is probably symbolic of some sort of fuel crisis. And it's some combination of maybe the lack of ketones, but probably high levels of glucose plus insulin resistance plus lactate drives a lot of these things. And then you put on people on medication to try and manage these situations. They typically gain weight. They're headed for obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and a lower quality of life. You're essentially keeping people alive longer, but their quality of life is tapering off rapidly, which is very sad, and it's shortened.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're now one of the famous MeatRx coaches, right?
Yes, yes. MeatRx has been an incredible platform to be able to just increase my knowledge base. The resources on there are phenomenal. The success stories and the community. That's been the greatest asset for me. That's how I got to know you and multiple other people that have joined into the social online meetings. I think we feel so isolated sometimes in our own families and our own society. People think we're crazy, just like I thought my brother was crazy, and then to talk to other carnivores and other people eating this way, you realize that, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. There are people who not only are doing this, but are having the same phenomenal, groundbreaking results that I'm having.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been really awesome to be a part of MeatRx. And I'm so humbled to be able to be a coach now and be able to help out other people who are starting out this journey, like I was in February. I mean, I was right there in February. It's not that long ago that I was in the complete misery. And now I get to help other people. It's the coolest experience.
Yeah, so if people wanna look into it, you can go to meatrx.com and you can look at resources, studies, you can meet people, you can hire a coach for less than $20, and you can be part of the community. Here's another photo from the before you.
Yep.
How long ago would you say that was?
If I had to guess, I would say 2016. Yes. I'm probably like August, September 2016-ish, around
So
there.
a little over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And here we are
But
with that one again.
but that's what I looked like
Sure.
in February of this year. I mean, I didn't change any.
And this is when you're starting to lose weight, right?
Yeah, that's when I started to lose weight.
Yeah, there's quite a difference from the last photo there. Getting brave.
Yep. And even wanting to take a selfie, you know.
Smile's getting bigger.
And I still couldn't stand at that point. I mean, I could stand long enough to like balance myself, but you can't see my walker is right outside of the picture range in most of those. I had to brace myself and then just take the picture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this, you could just see the inflammation in my face on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just baffling.
Look at that. Different person.
Yep. It's crazy.
Big difference. Bigger smile. Oop. Anyways, back to the guns. Well, I think we got through all the pictures. So is there anything else you wanted to share with everybody?
No, I think that some of the things that have happened to me, it's really easy for me now to forget how bad it was. But when I was in that pit, that misery, there was no light, there was no hope, there was no anything. And once I got a taste of that, once I got just the first 30 days, once I got through the first 30 days, and I realized that there was an option, there was a possibility of better than misery. That's all I needed. And then it just snowballed from there. So if you could just get through the first 30 days and just get to that first glimpse of hope, then the rest will take over. It's not like you have to, you know, have these big lofty goals or anything else, just better. I think better is the best goal that you can have.
Well, give me some idea what your first carnivore meal was like.
Okay, well, I started out with bacon. I loved bacon. I had to have, I made sure that it was less than 1 gram of sugar. It couldn't be like the, you know, super sugary bacon.
Right.
So bacon, ground beef. And I started out with ghee. Found out later I was reacting to ghee, but started out with that.
Sort of Brett Lloyd style, huh? Hamburger and bacon.
Yeah, a lot like the Thankful Carnivore, yes. And what else?
Did you notice quickly that your digestion got better? Did you have any digestive issues?
Yes. And I didn't know I had digestive issues. Isn't that hilarious?
You thought it was normal.
Like
we all did.
It felt like crap. That was just life, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't until it resolved that I was just like, oh, I was like, this is so cool. I don't feel horrible after eating.
Yeah, that seems to be the first thing that gets better is people stop having heartburn. They stop having gas and indigestion and upset stomach, and they don't feel like they're slipping into a food coma. They don't feel like they've got a rock in their stomach. All that stuff isn't normal. You know, we get used to eating Tums and taking a Meprazole or Prilosec or Alka-Seltzer or whatever. You know, it's like, oh, that's just normal. Just about everybody needs that.
Yeah. And now I feel like I've got this ultimate like biohack, you know, because like not only did I, you know, lose 100 pounds, 90 to 100 pounds, and not only did I resolve my bipolar disorder symptoms, not only did I resolve the MS symptoms, but now I have these awesome poops. And I'm just like, this is the coolest thing ever, that I can just exist and not be hungry all the time and be the healthiest I have ever been and just the most content I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
just from eating a steak. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who would have thought eating steak could be the secret to feeling better?
I know. And for me it's fat as well. I mean, having
Sure.
the meat is yes, essential, but just as much the fat, because that really helps with my cravings, and um it helps me stay satiated.
Yeah, when I talk to people, I often tell them to say, well, just try eating one, if you're eating 3 times a day, just try and eat one of your meals in a day that's just meat and see how it goes. And then if you want to progress from there and you're having cravings, just try and eat that first and then see if your cravings go away. Because maybe you don't want that box of Twinkies or whatever your Achilles heel is after that. Just get through that and then see how you feel. Because a lot of times when you feel better, I mean, everybody's familiar with the concept of food being comfort food, right? Your macaroni and cheese and your cupcakes and your ice cream and whatever. It's all comfort food. Uh, so when you feel good, you don't need that level of comfort, right? You don't need food to make you feel better because you already feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because now when I celebrate something, I celebrate with a steak, and it sounds silly because that's what I eat every day, but I tell you what, man, yesterday I went and I woke up first thing, and I wanted a steak, and so I had a steak like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and that first bite I made an audible noise just from that first bite. I was like, oh, like, how does that happen? 10 months of eating steak, and I still have that first bite, and it's just, it's so good,
Yeah.
because my body knows. It's a visceral response. My body knows, here we go. Here comes nutrition. Here comes health.
Mm.
And my body just loves it and is so happy. It's not boring at all.
So do you recollect what changes you noticed by the end of the first week?
Um, yeah, the first week was a little bit of a blur because I was having those like flu-like symptoms.
Hmm.
But it's kind of funny
Some
because,
people get that.
yeah, because I went straight from the standard American diet to 50% meat, 50% fat overnight. Like, I didn't even mess around. I didn't
Yeah.
gradually do it, and I'm kind of glad I did, because that really revealed the MS.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew what I was dealing with right away. So some people, it is better for them to go gradually. But I didn't realize or didn't recognize as much those flu-like symptoms, because I felt that way all along. I've been feeling horrible. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just like, okay, it's just another pile of horrible. Great, whatever. But yeah, I had the muscle aches. I was nauseous, so irritable. I had to isolate myself a little bit from my family so that I didn't bite their heads off. But that first week, I was able to do it. It wasn't difficult for me to actually eat the meat. But I just kept, there was something in me that just knew that this is what my body needed. This is what my brain needed. And I just kept going.
And how about towards the end of the first month?
That's whenever I got that glimpse. That's whenever I got that little light, that little, I could see that hope. And I described my depression was like a hoodie. It was just like really heavy before. And then whenever I got to the end of that third month, it was just like I could pull back the hoodie and I could see the horizon. Like, I could see the hope. I could see that, oh, I might have a future. There might be something that I can do in this world. And oh, that was everything to me. That was everything to me. And now, having the clarity of thought that I haven't had in probably 15 years, I'm able to have ideas and then execute them. I've had ideas before, but then I get lost back into the misery
Mm-hmm.
and forget them done. But
Mm-hmm.
now idea and I can actually follow through on it. And so that was the beginning of the snowball. And then I couldn't stop eating meat and I couldn't stop healing. It was the coolest thing ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. The little things start to change in the beginning, like digestion, and then the mood seems to get better, and then the body starts getting better. You start getting leaner, and I think, it's entirely possible that you actually were gaining some muscle over that time just because you're feeding yourself correctly. So even though you were losing, not necessarily working out, you were losing body fat, those muscles might have plumped up a little bit when you're getting enough protein.
Very true. Very true.
Once you get up there, I think it's around 2.5 milligrams of leucine, then your body's kind of optimal for building muscle. So,
And I've been carrying around a lot of weight, so I've been able to carry that. It's just crazy. Like even just walking, I used to, whenever I would walk, I wouldn't be able to walk in a straight line, even before the MS and stuff. But just with the weight, I would just wobble. I'd be like side to side to side. And now when I walk, it's just like I have a core, and I just stay in that, and I just walk. And I didn't know what that felt like, because I don't remember when I was that young and I was that thin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really, really cool to be able to walk healthy.
Did you want to give people any details on your social media?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm at carnivoreminds. That's plural. So at carnivoreminds. And then on Facebook, it's my name, Emily Brooke McCulley. If you guys want to look me up on there. I have been documenting all of this journey since July on social media. And so there's tons of posts on what I eat and what I feel like, and my journey, how things have been going.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll try and put links to that in the show notes once this is all done. So
Great.
all right. Well, is there anything else you want to share with the people?
No, just thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for being on this journey with me. We were talking about with MeatRx, it's just so great to know that I'm not alone and that there's other people out there that have the same number one experience personally, but they have the same passion to tell other people about this.
Yeah.
Because it's just the coolest.
Yeah, I'm always looking for people to tell their story because I think it's one of the most powerful things we can do. I mean, you had all kinds of great photos and your recovery is pretty miraculous. Not everybody's story is quite as miraculous as yours, but I think anything we can do to let people know that just changing your diet and going on a meat-based diet might really turn things around. I mean, a lot of people are struggling just to buy all these medications, much less get out of bed, and you can kind of turn it around just by going on a meat-based diet. At least give it a try. Give it a week, give it a month, give it 3 months. 3 months, if you make it to 3 months, you're usually golden.
Yeah. And I was shocked at how cheap it was. I mean, I thought, well, this is going to be more expensive or whatever, but it saved me so much money. And then once I transitioned my son's eating, it was just like amazing how much money we saved not buying Doritos, mac and cheese, ice cream, brownies, and how much time I saved not having to cook all of the junk stuff.
Those teenagers will graze you into the poorhouse, won't they?
Yeah. And they need to eat like all the time, and all the time. But now he's actually doing really well, and he's in his 6th grade year, and he's doing better academically and emotionally than he has ever done. Since 1st grade, I've had the teachers telling me, you got to put this kid on medication. There's something not right. And now he's knocking it out of the park. And I attribute all of that to his food.
Yeah, how would that be with mom and son on Adderall?
Yeah, not pretty. Not pretty.
Yikes. Well, it's been a real pleasure talking to you, and I really look forward to our MeatRx conference calls. I've been in like three a day, 3 a day for a while because I enjoy them so much. So I look forward to seeing you there and seeing you on Facebook. So if you know anybody else who wants to do a video like this, just nudge them in my direction.
Great. Thank you, Tom.
Maybe we'll get you your own YouTube channel one of these days.
That's what my family's pushing for. I'm like, okay, baby steps.
All right. Well, thanks again, everybody. And if you would subscribe to the channel and maybe give the video a thumbs up and leave your comments. Subscribing to the channel makes a big difference. So I'd like to get that subscription up to 1,000 people. And please share the links to these videos to people who it might help. And look Emily up online. Join the community. Check it out. See what's happening. There's lots of people with stories like hers. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. Feel better.